On a sunny May Day in Ouagadougou, President Ibrahim Traoré received a call that would fuel an international controversy. "The White House requires your presence to go on live television and debate Karoline Leavitt," he explained. "She is America's new aggressive press secretary, and the issue is education reform globally." Ibrahim, Burkina Faso's 35-year-old leader, stopped reading his nation's most recent education reports. He wasn't unfamiliar with Karoline's image, a hot-headed, vocal opponent of world leaders. But Ibrahim, whose transformation of his country's educational system so astounded that even Harvard professors came to study it, wasn't about to be swayed. "Accept the invitation," he instructed his advisor. "Africa has something to offer." In Washington, meanwhile, Karoline Leavitt scrolled through Burkina Faso's education reforms data. This so-called revolutionary president thinks he can give lessons to America. She scoffed at her aides. "I'll reveal him for what he is, another third-world dictator dressed up." But her aide, Emily Rodriguez, faltered. Their literacy rate rose from 29 to 78% in only 3 years. She started. "Manipulated stats," Karoline retorted. "My role is to reveal the truth." As preparations for the confrontation started, the contrast in their approach could not be more extreme. In Ouagadougou, Ibrahim and Education Minister Aminata sat down to talk about actual concrete achievements. 47 new schools, digital classrooms, 95% student enrollment, 23 technical universities. Aminata remembered. "We need more than statistics," Ibrahim interjected. "Tell me about the children who mastered coding in candlelight, or the educator who constructed science tools out of metal scraps. Those stories are what really count." In Washington, Karoline's approach was clear. Find every failure, blackouts, teacher strikes, anything that exposes their system as a sham, she ordered her team. When one of her aides, Michael Thompson, reminded her that UNESCO and Harvard had praised Burkina Faso's reforms, she brushed it off. "I've taken down politicians far sharper than these so-called African idealists." On May 22nd, the globe waited anxiously as CNN's Anderson Cooper initiated the live debate. The studio, where satellite links between Washington and Ouagadougou were set up, provided the setting for a confrontation of ideologies. The moment the cameras rolled, the contrast between the two leaders was striking. Ibrahim sat calmly, surrounded by books and the Burkina Faso flag. Karoline, ever the image of confidence, leaned forward in her tightly buttoned blazer, already smirking. "Miss Leavitt believes that rich countries must lead the way on education reform," Cooper began. "President Traoré, your thoughts?" Ibrahim answered with restraint. "Innovation doesn't know borders. The most effective solutions tend to emerge where others wouldn't think to look." Karoline interjected, laughing. "With all due respect, Mr. President, your country was 70% illiterate only 5 years ago. How are you going to lecture a nation that founded Harvard?" The studio bristled, but Ibrahim just smiled. "Exactly, because we do have these issues. We've learned what works when budgets are tight and stakes are high." Then the argument suddenly took a harsh turn. "Where were you schooled?" Karoline sneered. "Some guerrilla training school?" the room gasped. Even Anderson Cooper was shocked. But Ibrahim had been prepared. "I was schooled in Ghana, engineering degrees. My master's from Asaban and Alsemba, and now Harvard and MIT are learning from our method. Your Department of Education called me to train their officials," Ibrahim supplemented, with slides highlighting his achievements whizzing by on the screen. The effect was palpable. "Our students surpass Americans in math and science," he declared. "Our college graduation rate is 94%, whereas yours is 73%. We learned that intelligence is not a nationality, and there are some lessons that must still be learned." At the end of the debate, something unexpected occurred. Tough as nails, Karoline Leavitt publicly apologized. "I went in with biases," she confessed, "but your words are self-evident. America could learn from you." Half a year later, the world noticed. Karoline Leavitt herself led us delegations to Burkina Faso, steering 23 nations through the educational reforms that had reshaped the country. In Ibrahim's office, partnership requests flooded in. 847 universities requested to partner, One quiet night, while the president took his wife for a walk in his garden, she noticed how people's perception of them around the globe had changed. Ibrahim, with his characteristic humility, replied softly, "No, my dear, I just uncovered what existed." Karoline's best-selling book Lessons from Burkina Faso was dedicated to Ibrahim. "He taught me that real education starts with embracing what we don't know," she wrote. What started out as a war of